Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be doing a comparison between the all-new GMC Sierra AT4X and the Silverado ZR2. Now this is going to be a two-part series. The first part is going to be a walk-around comparison, and then the second part is going to be a driving comparison. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larch Miller Chevy here in Murray, Utah for giving me some time with their ZR2. I really appreciate it. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below. Definitely check them out. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money, the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below as well. Let's get into the video. So let's start things off by going under the hoods of both of the trucks. Starting over here with the AT4X, we have a naturally aspirated 6.2 liter V8 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. It is good for 420 horsepower and then 460 pound-feet of torque. The axle ratio is 3.23, and guess what? The ZR2 has the exact same powertrain and the exact same axle ratio as well, and so yeah, same. So let's go over the front ends of both of the trucks. Starting over here with the AT4X, you can see that this is just pretty much like a typical GMC from a hood perspective and from a front end perspective. Frankly, you've got GMC's new headlights here, and then you guys can see with the coloration there on the grille, the giant GMC logo with the camera there below the logo. We do have a subtle AT4X badge, and then notice how this portion of the bumper is body painted, and then it's blacked out here at the bottom portion with the red tow hooks. And notice how the tow hooks are actually faced where they are vertical, and we do have fog lights down below. We do have skid plate protection underneath. Now, something that I need to mention that's very important is we have about 11 inches of ground clearance here with the AT4X, and we have an approach angle of 25.5 degrees. Now, popping over to the ZR2, you guys can see we've got this cool little accent piece here on the hood that says 6.2L on the side. And then we have the flow tie right with the red accenting. Is it functional? Who cares? It looks cool. We've got a ZR2 logo here, and then look at the difference with the headlights. And you guys probably noticed the hoods are also different as well in terms of, like, look at the cutoff point here on the hood. And then you can see here with the GMC how the cutoff point's a little bit higher. And then coming down below, you guys can see here with the tow hooks, notice how those are horizontally opposed. And then we've got our giant skid plate underneath with more skid plate protection. We do have some fog lights here. And then notice here with the bumper cutouts on the side. And with everything combined, we have 11.2 inches of ground clearance here with the ZR2, and we have an approach angle of 31.8 degrees, which is a massive difference between both the trucks. So sorry about the lighting with this particular shot, but let's talk about the tire and wheel setup. So you guys can see here with the AT4X, we've got 18-inch wheels, and we have 32.5-inch tall tires wrapped around those 18-inch wheels. We have a 2-inch lift from the factory, and then notice here how the fender flares are kind of like squared off in terms of the shape. And then popping over here to the ZR2, we also have 18-inch wheels, but we have 33-inch tall tires, and you can actually see the difference in terms of the size of the tires with them next to each other. We also have a 2-inch suspension lift as well, and then notice how it's more rounded off with the fender flare. We have our giant ZR2 badge here, and then we have our 6.2L V8 badge, and then an AT4X badge down below. And then something else that might not show up on camera very well is you can actually see the difference in terms of the mirror height, whereas the ZR2, you know, kind of has like a slightly higher mirror because the truck is slightly taller with those slightly bigger tires. Notice here with the rock rails on the side, this is an option on the AT4X. Now this ZR2 doesn't have the rock rails added to it, but you can get it as an option for some added protection. And then popping here to the rear, you guys can see here with the tire and wheel setup, again identical with both of them. Now we do have leaf springs here with the AT4X, and you can see we have the DSSV shocks from Multimatic. And then if we pop over to the ZR2, same exact setup here. And then they both have the high ground clearance exhaust tips as well, as you guys can see here underneath. And then last thing we need to go over is breakover angle with both the trucks. And I'll show you guys a side view with both of them. So here's your full side view on the AT4X. And in terms of the breakover angle, it's 22.7 degrees with the AT4X. And then if we walk all the way around to the ZR2, so you guys can see our full side view here with the ZR2, so you can kind of see the difference in terms of the appearance there. Now our breakover angle is 23.4 degrees. So again, angles are still better with the ZR2. So you guys will probably notice we have the same exact key fob except Chevy logo and then GMC logo, but the key fobs are identical. Now they both have the tailgate drop down function, but they do have two completely different tailgates that you can actually get on both trucks. It's just that these trucks have different tailgates. Anyways, payload capacity here 1,322 pounds, and then payload capacity here 1,438 pounds based on the door jam stickers with both of the trucks. Now the funny thing is this has a towing capacity of 9,000 pounds, whereas this is 8,900 pounds. I'm not sure where the 100-pound discrepancy comes from, because again, this has a higher payload capacity. If you guys are wondering why this has a higher payload capacity, I'm sure that the fact that this has a very luxurious leather interior kind of plays into that extra weight from the interior. And then on top of that, right, this has the multi-pro tailgate, which weighs a little bit more. That's also going to lower the payload. And so I'm sure between, you know, the added weight from certain interior niceties and then the tailgate and all that kind of decreases the overall payload amount, and maybe frankly some of the sheet metal and everything they use for the GMC truck. Anyways, let's kind of go over things here with the rears with both of them. So if we start over here in the Silverado, you guys can see here everything is protected from the factory LED lights. We have a power outlet here in the back as well. It says ZR2. Now you can see there with the cargo light and camera, you can get the multi-pro tailgate with this. It's an option though, whereas on the AT4X, it shows the standard equipment on the window sticker, so that's definitely a key difference. I'll go over the multi-pro in a second, but you can see here again, LED lights, and then we have full power outlet down below. Same thing with the cargo camera light. It says AT4X here instead of ZR2, right? Now with this, there's just a button you press on the tailgate, and then it brings this whole system down. Kicker sound system. It has a weight limit of 375 pounds, and it makes accessing the bed a little bit easier. You can lift it all up with one hand. It's kind of awkward, but it's definitely possible. Now, last angle that I'm gonna go over before we finish things off with the rear is departure angles. So with the AT4X, we have a departure angle of 23 degrees, and then with the ZR2, we have a departure angle of 23.3 degrees. So again, the ZR2 wins on every single angle, which makes sense because of, again, the high approach angle front bumper that they've done, and then having slightly bigger tires, it's gonna have better angles. Anyways, you'll notice that they both have the cutouts here in the bumper for the steps, right? That's kind of like a GM thing to do. And then parking sensors here on the rear, notice it says ZR2. And then we have the Silverado taillights. And then we've got this Sierra taillights. Let me know which one you like better. Of course, AT4X right there. And like I said, they both have the high ground clearance exhaust tips, so neither have exhaust tips that poke out past the bumper. Spare tires under both of them that are both full-size spares. And let's pop inside. Now, starting here with the ZR2, the theme with the interior here is easy to clean and not show stains, basically, because again, Chevy intended this to be used as an off-road truck, so that's why it has this kind of a gray coloration here. The neon stitching is just to add some pizzazz, but you can see here with the seats, again, easy to clean in terms of why they are shaped the way that they are shaped. We still have the behind the seat storage, and you guys can see here more storage underneath. And I'm actually curious to see which back seat is more comfortable. So I'm just kind of feeling back here also. You can see that whole setup. They'll have the same amount of room because they're the same truck from a cab perspective. Now you can see with the AT4X, the theme is luxury. So you can see here with the door panel, definitely a lot more upscale from interior use perspective. We got like wood trim and everything. And we do have a more advanced sound system from Bose. This is a 14-speaker sound system. You can definitely tell the difference between them, I will say that. And then here are the seats, again, towards the luxury side of things. And you can see the overall design there. Same thing will pop in. Notice we've got that. These seats seem to not be as like squishy. Those seats over there were actually a little bit softer, odd enough for the back seats. Anyways, we'll go to the front of the ZR2, and then we'll go to the front here of the AT4X. Now here's the front door panel with the ZR2. Again, that theme of being easy to clean. Notice from like a texture perspective, and then also with the material use continues. And then notice here with all of our window controls, the mirrors do power fold in, again with the Bose sound system. You notice that there's just not as many speakers here in this truck. And then here are the front seats, and we'll see which one has more comfortable front seats. These ones actually feel like they're a little bit firmer than the back seats, interestingly enough. Power adjustments there. And then I'm going to show you guys all the equipment here. In this Sierra, we're not going to show as much, but notice here with the drive mode select, drive line select, light controls, that's for the heads-up display. Steering wheel is power adjustable, and popping in, definitely got to step up quite a bit. Yeah, these seats are pretty firm in here, so that's weird. So I guess that has softer front seats, but firmer back seats. This has firmer front seats, softer back seats. Explain that to me. Anyways, here is the steering wheel. So I'm not gonna double down when I go over the stuff over the Sierra. So basically, paddle shifters here, radio controls for the center stack, heated steering wheel control. We do have adaptive cruise control. We have our turn signal / windshield wiper stock. And then notice here with the coloration on the dash, again with the gray and then the neon stitching. And then you can see here with the gauge cluster. Now they both have the same drive modes. So we have our normal off-road and then our terrain mode. Off-road's for high-speed off-roading, terrain is for crawling, and then the terrain does have that one pedal drive with it. And then from an infotainment system perspective, the screens are the same and the camera system's the same. So they both have this 360 camera system, which, as you can see, shows you every single angle on the truck. It's my favorite camera system in the truck industry right now, and resolution is great. As for the infotainment system, basically, sorry, it's still in demo mode, so we got to go through this. Shortcut bar here on the side, you've got the main screen, and then you have this auxiliary screen. Now the only difference you guys will see is the coloration with the screen. Controls down here are all the same. So notice we've got our lane departure here, parking sensors, auto stop start, tailgate drop down, hazard lights, stability control, hill descent control, which I accidentally kind of pressed. We have the rear locker, and then we have the front locker. Well, you have to lock the front and the rear at the same time. And then notice the placement of the trailer brake controls and the stop start button, the size of that. Heated, cooled seats, dual zone climate. And then notice here with this whole section with the new shifter. And then the center console. And then we have the dual glove box. The buttons for the glove boxes are actually slightly different, interestingly enough. You can see the face on that. And then we do have the camera mirror here at the top. And then we've got our sunroof. And then power sliding window in the rear as well. And then we just have a regular like cloth headliner here in the ZR2. So again, you guys can see the theme of luxury here with the AT4X. So we've got all of our leather trim with a cool cross stitching. Notice we have our AT4X logo right there. All these controls are the same, so we're not going to go over that. Again, we've got the upgraded Bose sound system, which is different. Another AT4X logo. And then here are the front seats. You can see the difference in stylization. And then again, we do have massaging seats here at the AT4X. That's what that button is right there. All these controls are the same. They both have 4-wheel auto, 2-wheel high, 4-wheel high, and 4-wheel low. We have leather on the grab handles. That's another difference between both of the trucks. And then notice here at the stop start button, definitely looks more luxurious and kind of like in your face. Steering wheel, exactly the same. Obviously different logos there on the steering wheel. Gauge cluster, again, it has like a slightly different appearance with it compared to the ZR2, but like all the drive modes and everything are the same, and they both have a tow haul mode. I forgot to show that on the ZR2, my bad. So you've got a tow haul mode as well with both of the trucks. But yeah, same exact gauge cluster. Infotainment system, like I said, same camera system. Also the same between both of the trucks as well. Just notice the coloration on this looks a little bit different. Again, still have heated cooled seats, dual zone climate. All these controls are identical. This does have the front and rear lockers just like the ZR2 and the hill descent control and the one pedal drive. Notice here with the shifter, we've got the trailer brake controls here. Because the stop start button is so big that they couldn't fit the trailer brake controls in that area, funny enough. Whole center console area is the same. Yes, I have a banana in there. Notice here at the button, the glove box, a little bit different. So I guess it's different. And then also the dash. Again, this is kind of more towards the luxury side of things. You can see they've gone from an appearance perspective. And then we have the camera mirror system. Same thing with the sunroof, but this has a more premium headliner. So let me turn up the camera brightness so you guys can see a little bit better. So you can see a little bit more of a premium headliner, and well, there you go. Now let's quickly go over pricing before we sum things up with the walk around comparison. So in terms of pricing with the ZR2, it starts now in like the high 60s, whereas this starts in the mid 70s. So there's roughly like a $6,000 price difference between both of the trucks. So like I said, there will be a video with driving impressions, so if you're not subscribed already, I'd recommend subscribing, so as soon as I post that video, you guys can see it. But if you look at things just from a walk-around comparison perspective, this truck, the ZR2, is definitely more set up for off-road use, right? The front bumper is completely set up for approach angle and raw crawling and all that. That's why it has the cutouts there on the side. The bigger tires help out the rest of the angles compared to the AT4X. The AT4X on the other side, having the nicer interior, the more upgraded sound system, is more for mall crawling. And so kind of the way that I see this this is I think that a lot of people are gonna be buying the ZR2 to, you know, obviously mall crawl with it, because that's what most people do with these crazy off-road trucks, but also do some off-roading with it. And I think there's gonna be a lot of aftermarket support with that truck in terms of, you know, front bumpers and everything for off-road use in the near future. And then maybe lift kits and everything as well. We'll see what happens. Whereas the AT4X, I don't think so as much. I think this is the truck that someone gets because it looks awesome. It has the AT4X name. And again, it has a lot of luxury features that like the Denali has, right? But again, it has like this cool sporty appearance to it. I think that's kind of the buyer for that truck. So even though they're sibling vehicles, I feel like there's two completely different buyers for them. Let me know which one you guys would pick. That's gonna sum things up with our video doing this walk around comparison with both the trucks. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Chevy here in Murray for giving me some time with their ZR2. I'll see all of you in the next video.